Jeff Howard here at Kiteboarding.com. We have the 2014 Slingshot Rally. Now, I would call this as their third version of this. The Rally has been around for a good 3 years. They've changed this up. This is the 2014. So we want to see what all the changes are. I've kind of got my notes here because I kind of go over what they say it does or is or however, and I like to compare that to that. Now, we spent some time on this kite. Now, one of the main changes is our comp stick. This is a bar. Slingshot is copied many times in a lot of their designs. They do really well with their bar. They make it really clean. It's something I really like. So those are really good points about selling it. Now, they completely redesigned the butter box. This is the release system in the center they call the butter box. As well as the chicken loop here, how they put in the lock tube, which is really nice. It's not a Velcro on. This is a molded piece. This is the next step. A lot of companies are doing this. It's making it really, really nice. It stays stiff and it doesn't flimsy out of here or if the webbing breaks down. So that's really nice. They also made a molded piece on their sheeting line, sheeting pool, I guess you would call it. This is really nice, easy to grab. It's just getting cleaner, all these little small things. And as well as this is a little bit smaller in size. It does have a lip here, gives you some color. It's a good push-away release. They also have their Centerline safety system. Now, out of this, Slingshot was the one who came up with this. There's a lot of companies who have copied this system, called it something else. It works really, really well, real clean all the way through the system. One thing I do like, they also came up with, more than a few years ago, is their swivel here in the center. This is an oversized swivel. You will see that on a lot of other people's kites. It has definitely been copied, but it works very well. Your Centerline safety runs up through it. It also is a stopper ball. This is their original stopper ball, works really well, locks off when you want it so you can ride. Fly lines are all the same, but there's nothing wrong with that side of it. Here on the loops, you will see that when you roll up your bar, probably somebody was complaining that you don't know what to do with your lines. On the ends of these little pull safety loops they have on each side of the bar, that is basically it's kind of exclusive to Slingshot, they have these little Velcros that hold your line. So obviously they're falling off now, they weren't in the Velcros, but they're there for you to Velcro. They kind of work, no big deal. People are still kind of tying it on. Doesn't matter, it's just one of those small little points that I wanted to make. Now, I want to talk about the kite itself. So, on the kite itself, they've made a few changes. There's a few claims in there they say it's more maneuverable. Yes, I say that. It's a very little bit more maneuverable. In comparison, you can change down the wingtips. That kind of increases or decreases bar pressure. On a bar pressure of this kite, I claim it's got about a medium to high. And a lot of people do like that. They like a progressive type power up. And what I mean by progressive is when you power up the kite, you get more bar pressure. So that kind of senses where you have that kite in position when you're sheeting in and sheeting out. That's a new thing. It's kind of happening on a lot of the kites now, especially something in this delta type shape. They're getting that feel so you feel it. You know how much power you're going through. Some of the kites have a really light bar pressure, and you don't feel the full progression. Now, it's something you can get used to. It's just a personal preference. So to give all these little points is who this kite fits. Now, we've used this thing in lessons. We've used this in our intermediate, as well as, I say, our expert riders, guys who love to get out there and do all the crazy tricks, have had no problems with it. It doesn't have the turning speed of some other kites. It's a turning speed. It's really, really quick. It's a good all-around type. I would say I'd put it in the class of the Cabrini Switchblade, the Rally. All those kites are great all-around kites for about everybody. It'll fit, it'll be stable, it'll take gusty conditions, etc. That's something I like to have, is a kite that works for just about everyone and every purpose. Now, there's other ones that fit in there, but now what they want to talk about is the little tiny things if they've made some changes on. Now, new for, I think it was last year, they put in these wingtip struts. They were having a situation where some of this was bending or overloading and getting loaded. They put the strut in, definitely solved it. It's awesome. It's a great thing. It helps it turning a little bit more in response, as well as it just unloads some of this load of the bridle on the leading edge and makes it last a little longer. I think they fattened up the leading edge a little bit would be my personal point. That also gives more rigidity and stability. They still have their split strut technology. I really like some of this reinforcing. They put down the webbing on these struts. This helps in the surf if this kite gets twisted or rolled or rocked. There's a lot of problems that sometimes happen right here inside the struts where these will start to flex. They do have the split strut, as I said. This is something that Slingshot came up with many, many years ago. It does increase stiffness throughout the kite. I will tell you that from designing aspects. I really like it. When that's joined in, it makes a full structural, kind of like sandwiching all of that material together. Lets the strut move up into the sail part and gets that a little stiffer. Still have their standard one pump system, works fantastic. They have a lot of reinforcements on here. They call their Kevlar reinforcements. These do help when you set your kite on a rough beach, on the snow, wherever it is. It keeps it from touching these seams, because these seams you will wear out as the kite is sitting like this and it starts running or sliding or something. Really nice little reinforcement points that I like about that. They do have also on these wingtips, I'm sorry I should have shown you on the other one, is these little battens inside of this sail. This just basically reduces flutter. A lot of people will say, the kite's making noise, and this little tiny stitched in thing, it does work. It stiffens the trailing edge, so when you go aggressive turning, that keeps that from fluttering. When you reduce fluttering, you reduce wear and tear, and that's something I really like about it. Now, everything else on here, they say that it claims that it's got a little bit faster forward speed. I would say yes. What they've probably done, this just designing aspects, is flatten the sail just a hair, as also could have reduced the diameter of the leading edge in the center area. I'm not sure. I haven't mic'd it or measured exactly, but that's how you want to increase the speed of the kite. Now, that's the speed of riding speed. Lower end, it does have a really good low end to it. It's a great kite that kind of fits a range of riders. As you get heavier, you can get this low end grunt. It's not just that speed in there. They say that they changed the aspect ratio. I'm not sure. I haven't measured that. Visibility, when you look at it, not a whole lot. I think they did just a little bit. They just kind of come up with some points on there. But all around, I do have to say that they have done a great job on this kite. It is a really, really nice kite. As I say, it's fantastic to be able to take a kite like this and say, this will fit and work with you. It'll fit with a range of riders, weight ranges, riding possibilities, and the growth. So if you get a kite like this, it's going to grow with you a long time. I've been riding for many, many years, and I do really enjoy riding this kite. It was one of my top ones out of the pick of our pile. It definitely is one that gets grabbed out a lot of the times. Anyway, I want to give you those points. That's Jeff Howard here at Kiteboarding.com. If you ever have any questions, we ride the gear, we sell you what you need, not just what we have in stock. Jeff Howard here at Kiteboarding.com.